You think the most talented architect on this planet is? Not humans, but a tiny insect whose eyes haven't even fully evolved. The house it builds is accurate to 0.0001 millimeters at every angle, with errors smaller than humans' top precision instruments. Scientists modeled with computers for 50 years to replicate this structure, but finally failed. Even more spine-chillingly, these architects construct entirely in the dark, with no blueprints, no language, no leaders, tens of thousands working without interfering. Yet when put together, it is mathematically the most material-saving perfect geometry. In 2023, a mathematician wrote a paper on how to surpass this structure, and after finishing the research, he said just one sentence and closed his computer. He said, "Some bees figured this out a long time ago." At that moment, everyone fell silent, because this means a creature with a brain the size of a sand grain, tens of millions of years before humans, solved a math puzzle we still don't fully understand. How on earth did it do that? First, let's share a fact that will open your eyes even wider. The material bees use to build hives is beeswax secreted by themselves. Sounds ordinary, right? But the problem is, to produce 1 pound of beeswax, bees must first collect nectar from 2 million flowers, process it into 7 pounds of honey, and then convert that honey into beeswax, secreting it from their abdomens. In other words, those golden cells you see in the honeycomb, every single one cost the bees 2 million flowers to get the building material. They dare not waste a single gram of wax, so the shape must be extremely efficient. And this is why the hexagon comes onto the stage. Why not circles? Circles leave massive gaps when put together, wasting material completely. Why not triangles or squares? All were tried and had issues, either with low space utilization or insufficient structural strength. While hexagons are mathematically the only shape fitting perfectly without gaps, saving most material. This conclusion was proposed by human mathematicians in 36 AD, called the Honeycomb conjecture, but not until 2001 did someone use strict math to prove it true. You read right. Humans spent nearly 2,000 years proving on paper what bees practiced long ago. But what is even crazier comes next. The bottom of a honeycomb cell is not flat, but a cup-like structure of 3 rhombuses. This design lets both sides share a base, doubling strength while reducing material by 1/3. Scientists calculated the angle of this bottom rhombus is 109 degrees 28 minutes. And bees have absolutely no idea what an angle is. They just press beeswax with their heads, softening it with body heat into that shape by instinct. As a result, they press out precise angles every single time. You think this is already incredible? No, there's more shocking news, as scientists once did an experiment, rotating the beehive every few days to change gravity direction, causing trouble on purpose. Consequently, the bees still built standard hexagons, except transitional shapes like squares and pentagons appeared at the junction of the 2 sections. These shapes are not mistakes, but geometric adjustments they actively made to bridge 2 different areas, like a field architect solving errors at any time. This adaptability makes even human engineers feel inferior. Then how on earth do bees know how to build? Do they have blueprints? Is there a leader unifying command? None at all. Scientists found that each bee follows only a few extremely simple behavioral rules. When encountering a concave corner, there is a chance to build a new cell there. When it reaches a certain height, it curves, and if companions build nearby, they push together. With just these few rules, tens of thousands of bees execute individually, finally emerging into a macro-perfect structure far beyond any single bee's understanding. Scientists call this phenomenon emergence, where collective wisdom is far greater than the individual sum. The spine-chilling part is that the honeycomb is not designed, it grows. Not a single bee understands the whole structure, yet the entire hive is breathtakingly precise. It's like locking 10,000 people who know nothing of architecture in a dark room with 1 rule each. In the end, they work together to build a perfect skyscraper. For humans, this is an almost impossible task, but bees do it every single day. What makes scientists even more restless is that this structural wisdom is not unique to bees. There is a type of paper wasp on Earth with no genetic relation to bees, yet it independently evolved an almost identical hexagonal nest, except the material is not beeswax, but wood pulp they chewed up. Two completely different species at opposite ends with no communication independently found the same optimal solution. Scientists named this phenomenon convergent evolution. But privately, many feel this name is too calm, far from describing how terrifying this matter is. Now looking at bees again, do you still think it's just a little bug that stings? Behind its every movement is an optimal solution strictly proved by math through millions of years of evolution, and we are merely students who have just begun to read and understand this answer.